Well, this is it, the final video of my arcade specials. And we're going to end it with Double Dragon. Now, to hedge some of the questions I might get, the game cost $250 and I got it off eBay. So, what do you say we play this thing? Now, unfortunately, in order to play it, I actually need to put a quarter in. But after that, it's a free play machine. So, let's play. Double Dragon has to be one of the most recognizable arcade games of the 80s. It was a brawler. While it wasn't one of the first of its kind, the level designs and the variety of the moves made it a lot of fun to play. You know, I remember playing this arcade game every day after school with my friends. This machine would suck all the quarters I had and be taunting me to keep playing. Memories. You know this game is hardcore when the first thing you see in the game is some guy walking up to a girl and punching her in the stomach. I remember the first time that I saw that, and I was like, holy shit! What a way to start a game. Now, the arcade version tells the story of Hammer and Spike. Their names are really Billy and Jimmy, but the characters are so hardcore, they go by their street names. Really? Hammer and Spike? Are those the best names they could come up with? I mean, what are they doing when it comes time to pick out their names? Are they just going through some guy's tool belt? All right, it's time to pick out our names. You're going to be Pliers, and you're going to be Screwdriver, and you're going to be Wrench, and you're going to be Elmer's Wood Glue? Sorry, dude, but you're going to be Box Cutter, and the leader, save the best for last, Hedge Clippers. Their girlfriend gets kidnapped, and the two brothers decide to use their fists of fury to get her back. Forget calling the police. This is street justice. There were three main buttons: punch, kick, and jump. If you use them in different combinations, they could do different kinds of attacks, like jump kicks, back kicks, or everyone's favorite, the elbow punch. It was everyone's favorite because it would knock an enemy on the ground, and if you do it right, you could keep knocking the thug on the ground and he could never get up. Unfortunately, it wasn't a very powerful move, so it took longer to kill the bad guys with it. But using it meant you could survive in the game longer, so you just kept doing it. Another great part of the gameplay was that you could pick up the weapons that the bad guys would use against you, or from the stuff around you. You couldn't hold on to them throughout the game, but the parts that you could use them made dispatching the enemies easier. One of the major problems I found with the arcade version was the frame rate slowdown. There were quite a few times where the action would just start chopping up. It was far from a smooth experience, which was frustrating. Another screwed up part of the title is the ending itself. Remember the part where I said the two of you had to save your girlfriend? That's right, one girlfriend, two brothers. So what happens after you kill the main boss? You have to fight to the death with your brother over a chick. How messed up is that? Double Dragon the arcade game is a lot of fun, and playing it now reminds me of the carefree days of my youth, and how even the simple gameplay it offered still holds up to this day. And if you ever see it at an arcade, you should definitely put a quarter in. You won't be disappointed. Now, the NES version is a lot like the arcade version. This game also starts out with a girl getting punched in the stomach, which I couldn't believe. I never thought Nintendo would let that one fly. But there it is. The layout of the levels are very similar, while not being an exact copy. This is especially true in the later levels. There's nothing wrong with changing the levels from the arcade version, but I just don't see the point in doing it. It was already good to start with. Why not just keep the level design the way it was? For the life of me, I can't understand why they changed the basic core of the title. What's wrong with the setup to the arcade game? Why did the publishers have to screw with that? It was perfect. Instead, they decided that they would improve on the gameplay by making you earn the moves that you could do. For each enemy that you dispatch, you earn experience, which when you level up will give you another heart, which will let you do more complicated moves. You know, those same moves that you could do anytime in the arcade? This time you have to work for it. Plus, there are no continues, so that makes the game harder than it should be. Why not let us have all the moves that we were used to in the arcade version, right out of the gate? What is the reasoning behind this? There was another problem with the NES version, and that was the controls. This one wasn't the publisher's fault though. The NES just didn't have enough buttons. So that meant in order to jump, you had to hit the A and B button together. So that made jumping not very precise. Unlike the arcade version, there is no cooperative play. play. There is a 2-player mode though. However, it's the same kind that you see in Super Mario Bros., where the second player would have to wait until the first player would die before they got their shot. Sometimes that could mean that at least 10 minutes would go by before they even got their turn. There's also a second player mode, which is more like a watered down version of a Street Fighter game. They let you choose between 6 characters, and you fight against each other. This mode is also available in the 1-player game, so it is available if you don't have a friend to play it with. So that's kinda cool. So you might be wondering, where's Jimmy? Now, like the arcade version, you have to fight your brother in the end of the game, except this time he's the real final boss. Double Dragon for the Virtual Console is fun, but it can be really hard with its handicapping you from doing the best moves in the beginning of the game. Plus the fact that you only get a few lives means it makes the game even harder. However, it is enjoyable, and if you can't find the original game in the arcade to play, you should download this classic because it's worth the 500 Wii points, and you should buy it now. Well, that's it, Double Dragon and Double Dragon the NES game. I hope you guys have enjoyed my arcade specials, and I promise you a Wii game review is next. Thanks for watching.